Hey guys, it's Collector West, and today we're going to be reviewing an article from riftbound.gg going over the body domain guide or the body runes about the best cards coming out for Spirit Forge. So I'm going to go over all of them, go over some articles, we're going to look at them together, and we're going to diagnose and theorize or theory craft what cards look good and what cards are going to benefit other champions. Or just what's coming up and what's going to be good to invest in and look at with current decks like in the body or mind or order or chaos or anything like that. Let's get into it. Okay, so it says here, Wuju Blazeman starter and Set the Boss made the body domain one of the best in Riftbound, and they absolutely did, being that Yi was only going to be in Proving Grounds, and then you could get set in obviously the decks or in the booster packs. It says, even after Dazzling Aurora failed to become the most dominant force many anticipated, these two kept the body domain atop the competitive metagame. Well, Dazzling is still good. Toward the end of the Origins of metagame, the Fury domain had the upper hand with Annie, that's true. And still, Kaisa is incredibly strong. So, Annie, I think those are all top tier 1, tier 0 cards or legends. Unfortunately, the new influx of cards might not be packed with what the domain needed. Okay, so let's see. All 4 new legends feature a different synergy, which leads to many different situations, or many being situational, specifically designed for a legend. Yet, because the set has been divided among 4 different strategies, none feels complete or at least flexible in how you can build, how they can be built. If I had to pick, I'd say Sivir, the Battle Mistress, has the best shot, mostly due to her legend ability being tied to recycling runes. In this set, many cards have the power cost associated, so might as well get some benefit if you're forced to play that way. All right. So in the article, what's going to happen here is they have a star rating. It says niche synergy contributor, great side deck inclusion. That's going to be a 3-star. We're going to have a great fit for Spirit Forge metagame, playable in multiple decks, 4-star, future staple for the domain. That means a meta changing card, right? That's exactly what we're going to do. I was going to do this anyways. Playable in multiple decks, future staple for the domain, able to shape Spirit Forged metagame, and here we go. We have a card number 1. It's called Punch First. It is a 1 recycle 2. Yikes. But it says give a unit +5. This turn it's an action, which is nice. So in your action phase, you start a showdown, you start your action phase. You can play it there. And the reason why you'd want to play it there is you would want to make sure that your action, you have an opportunity, even though they're going to, if they react or not, if you have an action and they don't take an action, then you can obviously move forward with that. If you're going to, if you want to swing in big, right? It's a +5, which is great. You can play it on your turn or in showdown. So you can even play it on yours, and not as a reaction, but an action, which is nice. And so it's a okay card. I would say they're giving it 5-star. It says recycling 2 runes makes this card situational at best, and I agree. Punch First early in the match. Be 2 runes behind from there on. Yeah, and it just depends. You really need to play that like later. It says plus Spirit Forge is designed around gold. Yes, it's definitely designed around gold treasures, helping alleviate the power cost. So even in that, with the gold treasures as you're exhausting runes, I believe that's what it does. You need to be running seals. I think Spirit Forge is heavy around seals. And so yeah, we're not going to read all of this because this will be a super long video. It says, alongside the Kato arm, the buff becomes a 10 might spread across 2 targets. Body legends either have a signature spell or a champion unit designed to help move the battlefield to another, which is great. Let's look here. We got Strike Down. Choose an equipped friendly unit. It deals damage equal to the might to an enemy unit. Then detach an equipment. It's okay. 3 for a 1. It deals damage equal to its might to an enemy unit. Then detach an equipment from it. So, it's just a regular spell. It doesn't have action. It doesn't have action speed on it. So I can see why that's the case. It feels very situational though. So let's move on. We got Warmogs. Warmogs, love me some Warmogs in League. It says Warmogs, equip. You gotta pay 1. Attach this unit to your control. When I conquer, buff me. If I don't have a buff, get +1. I think this is a really good card. You want to make Fiora mighty. You want to make any of your cards mighty. And it has an equip and it's a gear. So you take it, you get it back, you take it, you can equip, you can unequip. And so that's a really nice, I want to see what they actually have to say here. I've already included Doran Shield in the Calm Review and Cloth Armor in the Mind one. It's not that I love 1-cost equipments particularly, but these 3 domains will synergize with them. Plus, it just happens to be that the 3 cheap equipments represent great utility, and I agree. They're 1 for 1. And that's always good, right? It's just a 1. There is no recycle cost. which is great. We're going to see a ton of recycling in Spirit Forge, and that's why I'm currently investing in all the seals. Let's see. If you factor in the cards benefiting from buffs such as Lee Sin, Mistfall, Udyr, Udyr would be great because you can pay those costs and get the 4 that he has. Oh yeah. Warmog's is a pretty good deal for that cost. Yeah, I agree. Set the boss, right? You're going to be able to use set, get the buff, take the buff off. You won't have to get rid of the gear. Yeah, because you don't have to lose the gear. Um, let's see. Here to help. I think it's going to be a good card. I think it's going to be a really good card. It says you can hide for now. It says you may play a unit from your hand to a battlefield you control, reducing its cost by 3. Any unit. It is a 2. It's 2 recycle 1. Okay, and you can hide it. That is awesome. Making every card that's technically a unit into like a Shin, where Shin can come from your hand straight to the battlefield. And you reduce its cost by 3. So you may play a unit from your hand to a battlefield you control. That's the only thing you got to do. But if you're already defending and you're already like trying to hide a card to try to play like a meta game behind that, or just trying to play like a game where they don't know or they think it might be this, but they don't, they come out swinging big, you come out swinging bigger. And it's bad news bears from there. Great card. I think it's a great card. Lucian, they have him as a 5-star because he has Weapon Master. It's really good. And he's a 3 cost, no recycle. It says the first time I conquer each turn, ready me. Easy enough. And you get to equip. When you play me, you may equip one of your equipment to me for 1 any cost less, even if it's already attached. Yeah, that's pretty good. Everything's going to be built around gears. So let's see here. We got Ruin Runner. I can't be... So I saw this card, and I think this is going to be underrated. They have this at a 4-star. I can't be chosen by enemy spells or abilities. I think... and it's enemy. So you can buff and she can just stay on the field. She has to be taken out by something bigger. I think this is going to be such a great card. Can't be chosen by enemy spells or abilities. You can't singularity it. All you can do is buff your own units to swing in, or she's going to stay and hold. You have to beat her. And if you can buff her and get her stronger, you're going to win the game. Like, this could be a game-winning card, no joke. It feels very simple. It's a very common card. I can't be chosen by enemy spells or abilities. So there's no ability on a card. There's no, I'm saying it again, no spells. There's nothing. You can't hidden blade her. It's a spell. You can't do any of that. You can't Cold the Weak. It doesn't matter. You can't do it. And then if there's an ability on a card that says choose this and reduce its cost or whatever, can't do that. She stays at a 5. That to me is pretty strong. Let's move on. It says here, Yone. I think Yone is going to be great. Even though they put him at a 3-star, it just depends, and I think it could be nuanced. He has Weapon Master. He says, when I conquer to an open battlefield, deal damage equal to my might to an enemy at the unit in the base. So when somebody's, a Victor wants to leave Victor leader, or Victor champion in the base, any if you wanted to play a Karthus, cards that want to sit in the base and use their abilities without being on the battlefield, incredibly strong. And when he conquers, so if you give him ganking in some kind of sense, all he has to do is conquer, right? He's a 5 damage. So if you have an ability to be able to gank over Misfortune, give a card ganking, move over, conquer. Don't want to hold. I'm going to move Yone over. I'm going to conquer. Then I'm going to do 5 damage to the card you just brought into base. You just summoned. Doesn't have an acceleration. Great. You keep your opponent out of the game. And if you can constantly give them ganking by moving over and over and just keeping him out on the field as you're building your own base, incredibly strong. Let's keep moving. Show of Strength. It says they give a 3-star. This is a 2 recycle 1 with reaction. Draw 1 for each of your mighty units. Okay, so simple. If you have a lot of mighty units, you're going to draw a lot of cards. That's great. Recycle costs 1, and it's a way to card draw. Card draw is very powerful in Riftbound, which I've learned, and I've been saying it multiple times. So niche card. It just depends on if you have a lot of cards out with a lot of buffs. Even if you just draw like an extra card, that's powerful. But is it going to be worth the cost for this to take up a card? Maybe not. But if you have a lot of cards and you're holding on to this, bam, drop that 3-4 cards. That's a top tier card at that point. We got Akshan I think is going to be so good. They have him at a 3-star. Let's read. He says, you may pay 2 additional body as an additional cost to play me. And he's a 4. He's a 4 with no recycle. It says, when you play me, if you paid the additional cost, move an enemy gear to your base. You control it until it leaves the board. If it's an equipment, attach it to me. Well, that's pretty nice. Man, that Aurora or like whatever. You know what? I'm waiting on you to get Aurora because I'm gonna take your Aurora if I don't get mine. I'm gonna take whatever gear you got over there sitting because it's gonna be gear heavy based, and it could be any like gear. Like you could be able to play. You can control it, and if it's just taking it away from your opponent so they can't use it, and it's of a different color. How cool is that? That's cool. And so what is it? That's pretty much it what they have on that in terms of some of their make or break cards. There's a lot more cards in here. But we'll go over more of those in another video because now let me see. Let me go find let's go to cards. No, not cards. Where's it at? Decks, not decks. Let's go here back to the beginning. Let's go to cards. And then we want to go to Spirit Forged. Are we here yet? Where is it at? Spirit Forged, set filter. We want to go to Spirit Forged. Here we go. And then we're going to go to color filter and we're going to go to body. All right, let's look at some more cards real quick because there's a lot more. It says here, Buru Captain. When you play me, you may draw one or buff me. So he's a 3 with a recycle 1. When you play me, you may draw one or buff me. So a built-in buff and a built-in draw, I think is going to be super good because you get to play set around it. You get to draw as well. You don't have to, he could just be a card that allows you to draw, not like a death knell effect. You just bring him in, you draw. So 3 recycle 1, you need a card, that's good. You also want to put a buff, that's good. What is it? And then if you want to use set around that, if you want to use whatever's going to be using buffs, that's good. I think this is probably middle of the road, probably 3, maybe a 4, because of just the card draw mechanic. Combat Chef. It says Weapon Master. He is a 5/5. You don't get to see plenty of those. And he says when you play me, you already equipment less than. I think this is a good 5/5. It's middle of the road kind of situation, but he is a Weapon Master, and you don't have a recycle cost. When you have big cards that swing in, they don't have a recycle cost. Yeah, man, that's not a bad card. And normally, if it's a recycle cost, it's going to have a better ability. But he's got Weapon Master, which is really good. Dauntless Vanguard. You may play me to an occupied enemy battlefield. So the reverse of like a sneaky deckhand, or the same as like a Dead Bloom. He's like a smaller Dead Bloom. He's a 4 instead of an 8. Recycle 1. You play to an enemy, so you immediately go from hand to battlefield, which is great. Doesn't have to sit there. So I think this is probably a 3. It could be a 2, but I say 3. We'll say 3. Direwing is the 7/7. I enter ready if you control another dragon. So if you're running dragons, brother, this is going to be a good card for you. This is actually not a bad card. 7/7. Normally we've seen bigger cards like Drakes and whatnot that are like 10/9. This is an even cost, even power. So I would say this could be a 3 pushing a 4, maybe. And the only reason I say it is because he enters ready. If you have another dragon, then you're going to have dragons on the field. Bam, 7/7 immediately ready to go. You're swinging in. Yep, you're getting a point. 7. And they're big. They're big bodies. So the important part about that is that the bigger they are, the harder it is that they're to take down unless you have spells and abilities to deal with them. And the spells and abilities use a ton of resources on the opponent's turn, which they may not want to use because they want to open up their battlefield or they want to build their base. Doran's Blade, great card. It's a 2 for a 2. Simple. You get 2. I don't know how else to explain it. Tap 1, 2. There you go. Laurent Bladekeeper. He has ganking. I think cards with ganking are just so powerful. I can move from battlefield to battlefield, and I'm a 3 cost. Hey, you got 3. I got a 3 cost card just bouncing. It's pretty good. The only card I can think of that like next card up would be like a Nocturne, but he's in obviously Chaos. But he has a 4 cost 1 recycle, and he has ganking. But his ability is super good because if you play like Nocturne, you play stack deck into Nocturne, meaning you're looking at cards, not drawing cards per the text, then you could draw Nocturne. You could look at Nocturne, pick him up, and then pay one cost to put him on the battlefield. So I think this is actually, in my honest opinion, I think this is a 4. I don't think it's a 5, but I think it's a 4. No recycle cost, 3/3, middle of the road kind of situation, early situation with ganking. Keep him moving him back and forth to keep the battlefield yours. And you're going back and forth, you're conquering. I conquer unless you're holding. I was over here, I'm going to come over here and gank. As I gank, I get a point. So you may have held, but I get a point as well. I held here. I'm holding here, and I got a point for him. Now I'm going to go conquer and move over and still build my base. Good card. Punch first. We've already gone over that. Let's go Sea Monkey. When you pay 1 as an additional cost to play me, when you play me, if you pay the additional cost, buff me. Simple. Pay 1, get it. He becomes a 3, and he's, you know, that's really it. But there are mechanics. It's like, hey, if a card has been buffed such and such this turn, give them plus whatever, or give them deflect, or make them mighty. I don't know, something. There could be something that's like that. If you buffed a card, I don't know, something like that, like a Fiora type situation. Veteran Poro, great card. I think all the Poros are obviously supposed to be good at the 2 costs, at the two. That's on purpose. At the 2 might. Weapon Master 2/2. He's gonna be in there. Easy money 3. Yordle Explorer. When you play a card with a power cost of any 2 color or more, draw 1 card. Card draw. It's incredibly powerful. So I don't know who you're playing, you know, whatever card you are playing that has a, you know, any 2 like that. If I'm reading that right, 2 recycle cost of any color, then draw. So it could be situational, it could be nuanced for sure. But I think it's going to be middle of the road 3. Fey Dragon. Here are dragons. This is a 7/7 with a recycle. It says, when you play me, buff up to 4 friendly units. I read this the other day and I was like, what? Give each one buff. 1+1. When you spend a buff, play a gold gear token. Brother, the gold gears are going to exhaust and bring in, I believe, what, runes? They bring in runes. And so I think this is a 4. Easy money 4. Easy money 4. Like, building your base like that, everybody gets a buff, spend a buff, get a token. Great. I think it's a great card. Hextech Drinker, right? Or Hex Drinker. What is it? You equip it, now you have deflect. 2 for 1, but it's strong because they can't, you know, they have to pay more for the spell to be targeted. So now your random cards that would technically never have deflect, that are strong, now have deflect. So, you know, you have a couple of Hex Drinkers. I think this card's going to be running at minimum 2. It's a +1, but you have deflect. That forces your opponent to pay more and to exhaust their runes. I think this is a 5-star card. I think this is a 5-star card because of the fact that you get deflect and you get +1. You get to diminish enemy resources. You go up 1, and then if you can equip multiple, let's just say at some point you can equip multiple gears to like a Jax or whatnot, or other units, it's going to be broken. Okay, Jawfish. He is a 7 with a 2 cost. Okay, recycle. You can accelerate him. Cool. It's always cool when a card has accelerate, but that's 3. I cost 2 less for each of your mighty units. Hey, so you have you play like Fey Dragon. Well, you know, turn around. Could you play Fey Dragon, give everything a buff, or they already have buffs, right? Then your gears give them buffs. They're +1s. What is it? Then they're mighty. Or excuse me, these are mighty units. So I cost 2 less for each mighty unit. So, I don't know all the mighty units that would be out here outside of Fiora, and maybe a couple other. I'm sure there's a couple other units. So this could be a little bit more niche. I could see this being great, because if you have 2 units, it's a 3. A 3 with the 2 cost. Yeah, that's great. And then he comes out, he's a 7/6. It's okay. I'm gonna say 3. I'm gonna say this is a 3. Petricite Monument, temporary. Okay. It says friendly units have deflect. Opponents must pay 1 cost to choose them with the spell. Okay, right. Kill this at the start of its controller's beginning phase. So, you know, it's like a gear that doesn't last, which stinks. I can see why, because, you know, you have it there, you pay 2, now all your creatures have deflect. That's nuts. That would be broken. Yeah, this is a 5-star card in theory, but a 2. I'm gonna say it's a 2-star card in practice. Okay, Ruin I've already talked about it. I think it's a 4-star card, maybe a 5-star card. Show strength. I already talked about Strike Down, Warmogs, Akshan. Here we go, Fiora. So Fiora, when I attack or defend 1-on-1, double my might this combat. Brother, if you just put any kind of gear on her that can do +1, +2, she's a 5, she's a 10. Or she's a 4, she's an 8. I think this is actually incredibly strong just because when she does 1-on-1 combat. And so you have to, you have to figure out that, because some people are going to move in with 2 if she doesn't get it, right? Um, and so there's a way to get around that. I think this is a potential 4, but I think it's going to be a 3 until you really figure out how much of a use you're going to go one-on-one with somebody, because they have to push it. And there could be potential around, like, I can't move in with 1, I have to move in with 2, which forces your opponent to have to push 2 in. So there could be that metagame of she is forcing something that you don't want to do, and she's also holding because she'll get 6 or she'll get 8. She'll be at 6 originally, or she'll be at 8, or she'll be at 10, however many buffs you have on her. But the opponent then has to sit there and think, okay, I can't move in with this, I have to move in with 2, which I don't want to do, and then next turn I can move them back, because they may be trying to hold 2 lanes. So there's, I would say this is a 3.5, maybe 3. We'll call it a 3.5. We have Fiora. That's just the alt art. Sorry. Here to help. We already talked about it. Kato the Arm. Okay, I remember seeing this card. It has Deflect, which is great. He's a 4-cost 1 recycle. When I move to a battlefield, get friendly units my keywords and plus equal to my might. Yep. That's a pretty strong card, brother. That's a pretty strong card. Whatever his might is, by the way. So he's like a built-in stratagem kind of situation, which is super good. I'm gonna say, if he's with the gear, he's like, he's gonna give everything +3 anyways. So depending on whatever's there, like, you could have 2 units and they're all getting +3 because that card's there. And if he has some gears on him, I think this is like a 4. I think this is a 4. I think it could be a 5. Yeah, I think there's some tech here and even just to protect him as well. And as long as he stays there, you're not getting over it. You're not doing it unless you take him out. You can particularly take him out with a spell. Lucian, already talked about him. There's the alt art, looks great. Marching orders. This is a 3. It has a repeat 3. Okay. It says choose a friendly unit anywhere and an enemy unit at a battlefield. They deal damage equal to their mights to each other. So, I have more might, you have less might. I want to get rid of it. Or it could be a big creature versus a semi-big creature. You're going to do damage to me. I'm going to do damage to you. Once you're down to 0, you're dead. Right? Or you start up, you do, it's like a built-in, it could be a built-in singularity, for bigger units to smaller units that have great buffs. It could be like a Darius, Executioner Darius, that has, when I move here, he's a 6/6, or he's a 6-cost 6 might, and friendly units here have a buff, which is great. So I think this is probably going to be, we'll call it a 3.5. Triforce, great stinking card. It's a 4, equip cost +2. When I hold, score a point. This is a 4 bare minimum. Bare minimum, could be a 5 for sure. I'm just gonna put it at a 4. When I hold, score 1 point. So 2 points. You know what? It's a 5. This is a 5. This is a 5 for sure. This is a 5. I mean, just think about the Kato arm. The Kato arm. You put Kato arm. You put Triforce on Kato arm. You move him in with another unit. Now you're swinging in for 5 that Kato has. He's a 3. He's a 5 now, plus the 5 that you just added there, or whatever. And you're not losing that. And if you hold, you hold, because it's, and then it's a gear. So hey, if you can get it back at some point, great card. Yone, we've already talked about him. Ancient Hinge. Is a reaction. Pay 2 cost 1. Pay any amount of energy to add that much. Feels very straightforward. I'd say this is probably a 3. We'll say 3. Bone Shiver, right? So when I conquer, channel 1 Rune Exhausted. I think this is great. You equip 1 plus a body, okay, and he's a +2. So it is a ramp engine. I think it's great, and there's no 3. It's just 3 cost comes down. Then you got to equip, and then once it's equipped, if you can just conquer and you can somehow move the gear over, you have anybody you can move gears over to, yeah, brother, you're gonna be ramping up tons and tons of runes to be able to do this, which is great. I'm still gonna say this is probably we'll put it middle of the road, 3, because 3 is not bad. 3 is good. I think this is good. Anything below good, I think 4, 1 is bad, 2 is not bad, 3 is good, 4 would be very good, and 5 would be meta changing. Jax. Okay, here we go. So he's a 4 with a 1 cost weapon master. When you attach an equipment to me, you may pay 1 to draw. That's freaking good. Yeah, I don't know what else to tell you. I don't know what else to tell you. That is so good. Ramp engine, in terms of getting ramping into cards, you may attach an equipment to me. You pay one to draw. You may attach. I mean, just give them another. You know, hey, okay, cool. You can attach an equipment to me, draw one. Attach another equipment to me, draw one. You know, if you want to take off an equipment and attach it to somebody else, attach another equipment to me, draw one. You pay one, draw one. That's it. That's easy money, dude. That right there, I think this is a we'll just say in practice right now, we'll leave it at a 4. It potentially a 5. That's the alt. Sivir. Okay, Sivir has a deflect too, by the way. I think this is great. She is a hefty card. She is a 6/7, which is good, but she is a 3 cost. She has a deflect 2. Woo, brother! Just taking that. Nah, golly. When I conquer after an attack, if you assigned 5 or more excess damage, like a Tryndamere situation, to enemy units, you may deal that much damage. You may deal that much damage to an enemy unit. So whenever you fight, you're fighting, and you win, and you've done more than 5 damage, then you can take 5 damage and either add it to another enemy unit, or you can add it to another enemy unit on a battlefield, or you can add it to an enemy unit at a base. That's super good. Super stinking good. And she has deflect too. Oof. She's hefty. That's where seals come into play. But yes, or you know, getting runes to be exhausted in through tokens, gold gear or gold tokens. So yeah, I think this is great. I think it's a 5-star card. Easy money. The alt art looks great. Lucian as a legend, your equipment give assault +1. I think that's great. Assault +1, amen. And that's all the time. You don't have to tap for it or anything. Your equipment each give assault +1. So every time you have a gear on somebody, right? Your equipment each give assault +1. So they always have +1 going into battle plus whatever they just had. Pretty good. I think that's actually any gear, and it's all heavy based around gear. Just if that was just alone, he would be the Kaisa of Spirit Forged. I would believe that. I would say he's a 5-star card. His signature spell, move a friendly unit. You may attach an equipment with the same controller to it. Oh my gosh. This turn that the unit has, when I conquer, you may move me to base. We're gonna go. I mean, I think this is great, and you can play it in showdowns as well. It's got action speed. Woohoo! You may attach equipment with the same controller to it. Great card. I'm still gonna say, just see it in practice, but I'm gonna say it's a 3.5. And then we have Jax and his legend. It says attach, detach an equipment you control to a unit you control. Attach an equipment you control to a unit you control. Moving around the gears. I think Jax is going to be great. I'm going to give him, depending on whatever gears have replaced, I'm going to give him a 4. I'm going to say it's a 4. At minimum, it's 4 because you have to tap. You have to do some certain things like that. But he has to tap 4, whereas like Lucian didn't have to do that. Counter-Strike. It's a reaction speed. Choose a unit. The next time that unit would be dealt damage this turn, prevent it and draw 1. Yeah, brother. Yes, sir. That is a phenomenal card. Phenomenal card. Prevent the damage and draw 1. And I keep my unit on the battlefield. That is a 5-star card. Easy money. And then we have Sivir, Battle Mistress. When you recycle a rune, you may exhaust me to play a gold gear token. When one or more enemy units dies, ready me. I'm going to say it's a 4. I'm going to say it's a really good card, really good legend. I'm looking forward to playing some Sivir for sure. On the hunt, ready your units. You have a ton of units, you're just like ready. Or they come into play. You want to win the game. It's like a little mini time warp in some way kind of situation. Ready your units. Just ready them up. 3 cards. You pay a 2 cost to recycle, 1 cost to recycle. So pay that of any of those 2 colors. Ready the units. You swing in game. There you go. I'm gonna say it's a 4. Fiora. I think Fiora is gonna be great. When one of your units becomes mighty, you may exhaust me to channel 1 rune exhausted. Oh, insane. Just 1 unit. One unit becomes mighty. They stay mighty, right? You keep it that way. You get another rune. Okay, and then she's exhausted, and then what is it? Then she'll come back next turn. Mighty, exhausted. So you're getting 3 runes per turn if you can make a unit mighty, brother. Insane. 5-star card, easy money. Choose a friendly unit. And this is riposte, right? So it's our parry. Choose a friendly unit. and a spell, counter that spell, and give that unit plus equal to that spell's cost. It's a 5-star card. Easy money. That's a 5-star card. That is a game-changing card. Yes, it is. It's going to be, and just to be able to choose a friendly unit and a spell, counter the spell that's going to, destroy my unit, and counter that spell. So it's a built-in counter for orange and yellow, which is not normally there. And you get to gain the might equal to however the energy cost for it. So if it's a 6, if it's a 2, it doesn't matter, brother. Then you turn that match around. This is a 5-star card. You're gonna see lots of these. Seal of Strength. It's beautiful artwork. Absolutely love the seals. I think this is probably the best looking seal out of all of them. Is the Seal of Strength with the looks like Volibear or some kind of even maybe a Warwick kind of claw. I think it's a Volibear claw or just a claw in general. Does what it does. I have 3 seals. I'm looking to get some Seals of Strength as well. And Set, that is Set. Obviously, you know what he looks like. I think his alt art looks great, or that the overnumber will look great. There's one with the signature. Yone's looks awesome. Great card, great artwork. Love what they did here. Purifier. Oh gosh, this legend is so tough. Super tough. I love this legend. I think the embodiment of what they did with the legends with like their color scheme, I think this is probably one of the best looking ones. Jax, amazing. Oh gosh, these are gonna go for so much money. Sivir looks great. Fiora looks great. Yep, and that's it. That is it, guys. We've gone over the article, gone over what my thoughts are on the best runes for body, or the best cards for body at a scale. I'm looking forward to playing it. I'm looking forward to playing. Golly, man, I would love to play. Jax and Lucian and Sivir and Fiora. I'm looking to play. Probably gonna play. I don't know, man. There's too many. It feels like there's too many things cooking up. But we'll talk about what I may look forward to playing too as well, and some other domains. So, anyways, guys, that's the video. If you like the video, be sure to like the video. If you want to see more, be sure to subscribe. And all things Riftbound. I will see you in the next one.